for me.
This is Casper de Nora, and you're watching the Chat with Chaps live show.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Chat with Chat live show. I'm your host, Joe Zampa. Hope you're all doing well. Lots and lots to discuss this week. Obviously, we talk about Saturday's game against Watford. We've got a massive game tomorrow night, as you know, against Leeds away. So lots to discuss, lots to sort of talk about. We're going to be talking about not just the play performances on Saturday. We want to talk about certain things like season ticket price that made for next season just come out. We're going to talk about 12:30 kickoffs. We want to talk about Millwall greatest of all time player. I know you've seen the socials, man, but that's coming out. So again, get your head scratched on that one. We will ask you in the chat shortly. But before we go to the chat, let's go to our hot panelists here. So first of all, there's no one who's more mighty and disco than Disco Steve. He's there. He's ready. How you doing, Disco? You good?
Yeah, really good, Joe. Hello, mate. Thanks for inviting me on. Hello, Stephen. Good to see you, mate. And what a difference a week makes, eh? This time last week, it was all a little bit doom and gloom, or we were about to encounter doom and gloom with the Bristol game. But, the boys done us proud at the weekend and put a spring in all our step.
Excellent. Good stuff, Disco. We'll come to you very shortly. Next panel on there is Stephen Jones. Stephen, becoming a live regular now. So that's 2 weeks on the trot. Good to see you back on again, mate. How you doing? How's your week been?
Yeah, good week. Obviously, Millwall winning helps. Hope you guys and the chat are well. And as you said, what a difference a week makes. I was on last week talking about 2 defeats, and this time it's a win. So happy days.
We were all on suicide watch, weren't we, about a week or so again, sort of hiding the knives and forks. My wife was in the kitchen last week, I tell you. Let's go to the chat very quickly. First of all, up is Cole Bracey. How you doing, Cole? Hope you're well. Dirty Leeds are going to bottle it again. Let's hope so, Cole. Let's hope so. Big E's in the house. How you doing, Big E, mate? Hope you're good. Hope you're well. Matt Richards, how you doing, mate? Good to see you on Saturday. Jeff Chandler, evening. How you, Jeff? Friend of the show. Hope you're well, mate. Who will play tomorrow? No idea, mate. No idea. Hughesy, good to have you on board, mate. Chris Brown, good to see you, mate. Hope you're good. Hope you're well. Jeff Cook, hope you're good, mate. Hope you're well. Carl Bracer, Dirty Leeds. Oh, hey, Jeff, that's it. Leslie Goddard, evening, Leslie. Hope you're good. Gary Miles, how are you, mate? Evening, one and all. Thanks, Carl. I know, mate. Alex S. Oh, Alex, mate, I tell you what, you're on time again, mate. This is brilliant. This is good to see you, mate. Good to have you on our show. Connor, how are you, mate? Hope you're good. Dave Turner, good evening, gang. How are you? Simon Steamhead, hi, Disco Dave. Disco Dave?
Disco Dave.
Is your new name there? Good to have you join us, Simon. Dave, Ian Gents, hope all is well. Hope you're well, David. P.S. Yeah, Stephen's back. Yes, he is. Jesper, one of the other panelists for the Chat with Chaps. Evening, all surprised about our away form. This point, our home form since Alex Neil has come out. I know it's been a complete turnaround from when Neil Harrison charged. It was the other way around back then, wasn't it? Evening, Samuel. Hope you're well. There you go. Disco. David, my son's final set, 30th March, Ebbsfleet versus Fisher. It's the final. Well, good luck. Let us know how he gets on for that one, David, mate. We'll interesting how he goes. Excuse me, Samuel. Let's piss on Leeds Cup final. Absolutely. So let's go back to thoughts on Saturday's game. Start with yourself, Disco. I presume you watched it live on a dodgy stream up in Bolton.
No. Red button, Joe. All legit.
Oh, right. Okay. That's good. Yeah. Good on you. What do you make of the performance? What do you make of it?
Well, without boring everybody, I think it's what we all know. It was a total game of the proverbial game of two halves. Look, I actually didn't think, when you reflect after the game, the first 20, 30 minutes, we weren't actually as bad as I think we all thought we were. Other than ball retention, passing was appalling. But then they got that goal, and then they got ahead of steam and really put us under the cosh. So we were probably lucky to get to half time with just the one goal down. I think everybody was really peed off at the lack of performance on the back of the Bristol result, etc. But we came out second half and acquitted ourselves really, really well. The commentary was saying it's a very flat second half and it's nothing really going on. And I thought that was a bit harsh because
on the first half,
sorry,
on the second half,
to start the second half.
right?
The commentary team were just expecting Watford to steamroll us, because that wasn't the case. But I think it was more down to us at first in terms of upping our game and tactically shut them out a little bit. And we grew with confidence. And then let's be honest, 2 really, really good goals. I mean, that's the real standout for me. Superb goal from Casper. And then I actually thought the keeper was really poor for Coburn's header, but when you watch it again, it's a bloody great header. He just heads it perfectly, loops it over the keeper. And so look, 2 great goals, and I think just as important, thought we shut out the game really well as well. You know, they had that one chance which was self-inflicted with Cooper's header, that a great save from Jensen. But you know, injury time, we saw that out very un-Millwall-like, very comfortably. So yeah, overall, really pleased, Joe. A good result and one we needed. We really did need that.
Nice one. Cheers, that Disco. Coming to you next, Steve. But before we get your thoughts on it, I guess it was a game of 2 halves, weren't it, Steve? But what I want to ask you is, what was the changes at half time that kind of gave this? If I just take you very quickly to the screenshot here, you see the first half. I mean, 67% possession for Watford, 33% possession for Millwall. Expected, XG 1.25 for Watford, 0.21 for ourselves. Look at the passes. I mean, they put 268 passes together, Watford. We only put 99. 86% of them successful. We had 66%. They hit us and beat us for shots on target, big chances created. And of course, second half, you can see we kind of got the lion's share there. We had more shots on target, created bigger chances, more accurate passes. Okay, possession 50-50, but certainly we played much, much better second half, Stephen. What was your thoughts on the performance, and what was the changes you saw at half time that kind of got back into the game?
Well, we looked like we were trying to score a goal. And I know that sounds really, really
helps,
stupid. I know it sounds really stupid, but at the start of a game of football, I do it every week, whether it's home or away. You look at how we set up and how we start. How are we trying to score a goal in the game? And in the first half, I don't think anyone in the Millwall end, Joe, obviously we saw each other before the game. We were both there. I don't think anybody could tell you how we were trying to score a goal. It was almost as if that the players were nervy. Every time they had the ball at their feet, it was like a hot potato. It was trying to get rid of it quickly, and no one really wanted to take any responsibility. George Honeyman, prime example, did really, really well to intercept that ball in the first half. And then as soon as he got into the box, it was just a case of, oh, what do I do? I don't know. I'm stuck, and we lost a chance. In the second half, I think we were a little bit braver. I know we'll come on to Cundle a little bit later, but he looked a little bit brave. I'm not saying he played well, but just trying to turn and go forward. Bangura Williams off the bench, turn and go forward. And Maku was trying to take on his fullback. And you can kind of look at it and go, well, at half time, did Alex Neil take the shackles off a little bit and say, right, let's get on the front foot rather than be conservative? Look, let's be honest, we didn't batter Watford, but we just looked like we were trying to get up the pitch and play a little bit more football. And look, we might not be blessed with the best footballers in the division. We've got some good ones, but when you allow the likes of Bangura Williams, Casper and Maku, when you let them express themselves on the ball and also sort of running at people, we look a threat. And it's no coincidence that arguably, I thought our best player in the second half was actually Jake Cooper. I thought he was outstanding.
I thought he was great, yeah.
It's no coincidence that the 2 players that got a lot of recognition after the game on social media were involved in the first goal.
Absolutely. And I guess you mentioned at the start, didn't you, about how we're going to score here? I mean, straight away, the changes we saw from the Bristol City game was out went Bangura Williams, Ivanovic and Aziz, and in came Imaku, Honeyman, and Coburn. Just with those changes, Stephen, what would you say was the game plan looking at those changes?
Well, yeah, I said it to you literally outside the ground. It's almost as if we were setting up for a point, but get a Maka in behind on the counter and try and nick a goal. And we played like that in the first half. It was contained. We didn't necessarily do it as well as what Neil would have liked, but it was just to stop Watford from scoring. And the fact that they did score meant that Neil had to change it in the second half. And look, credit where it's due. He did obviously. I think he would have given the players a real volley at half time because it wasn't good. Nobody in the away end was. I don't think anybody enjoyed the first half,
No.
apart from maybe some of the chants that were doing the rounds. But credit where it's due. We turned it around in the second half.
Yeah. So Disco, obviously, second half was a lot better than the first half. We're led to believe that the tactical change was we were playing a little bit higher up the pitch, Disco, and that we were pressing a little bit higher and reducing or limiting their chances of their space. I think Casper mentioned it after the game in his post-match interview. He talked about how he felt like in midfield they had an extra player all the time. Every time they try to close, there's an extra player spare. But Alex Neil saw that and tweaked it. What do you make of that change? And what do you make of Alex Neil as a coach, that he does see these things? He does identify areas of strengths and weaknesses. He's very good at kind of, changing the system sometimes to suit the game. And it obviously worked well for our second half, didn't it, last Saturday?
Yeah, well, I think said many times, I'm a big fan of Alex Neil, and that's only increasing by the game. Quite interesting, and I think it was discussed on Chris's review with Carl Bates that Alex Neil again came out and said, "I think I got it wrong first half." Now, does he really believe that, or is he, as Carl said, deflecting away from the players? I think the latter, to be honest. I don't think he's going to get it wrong 3 games, in a row, or 3 games already. So I do think he's playing a bit of media games there. But more importantly, he was very apt at changing it at half time. And it sounds like he only made a little tweak. You guys might know better than me. I didn't quite get what he meant by we changed Josh's position, because he was up front on his own. What changed there? But something changed because he suddenly looked a better player, didn't he? And most definitely Watford didn't have the run of the show like they did. And one thing I would want to say, Joe, much as I was, I was really disappointed. I don't want to dig out people too much, but really disappointed with Honeyman, especially in the first half. So much so I was like, that's it, that's enough. We can't keep persevering with him. He's just not good enough. Second half, he upped his game and played a part, to be fair. But he was very clearly in that role to support Kramer with Jack Falazzi, who, come on, he is a top-notch player, isn't he? And he was giving us the runaround second half. But think about it. Did you see him in the second half? In the first half, sorry, he ran the show.
He was very
second
quiet,
half,
wasn't he?
Didn't see him. So you say, did he fade out the game? I think we got a grip of him and stopped them. They're one of their major sources of supply. So look, tactically for me, Alex Neil, I think he's got it. He did very well. I think, like Stephen's saying, you'd like to start the game, wouldn't you, and be on the front foot and be the team that they're worrying about us for a change. Which when you think about it, I feel we did that at Leeds in the cup. So let's hope we get a repeat of that tomorrow, without jumping ahead. But no, look, really good, very well deserved on the second half performance win. So well done, Alex and the team.
Excellent. And of course, we're becoming a bit of a bogey side now for Watford. We've now won 4 of our last 6 games against them. So I'm sure they hate seeing the sight of us, and if we keep that run going, it'd be quite nice, won't it? Just going back to player performances again, we mentioned, we touched on Casper Denor, Disco, and I want to hear Stephen as well, both of you on this one. Is what do you make of his performance so far this season? I was just doing some research before the live show and just doing some stat checks and stuff, and we talk about where the goal is going to come from. Too often we're struggling to score goals, aren't we? And Casper Denor joked about after the game, said he's used to it's becoming a regular thing now, scoring a one touch tap in or whatever you want to call it, side foot in. But this season he's contributed for 4 goals for us this season. 3 goals in the league, 1 goal in the FA Cup, and also 2 assists. So there's actually 6 goals he's created. Now, you look at the other midfielders that play against the likes of Saville, the likes of Mitchell, Honeyman, I guess, at times. None of them have contributed in those areas of goals. I think Saville's got an assist, I believe. And I think maybe Wintle did get a goal against
Sheffield Wednesday.
Wednesday, that's right. Yeah, in a 2-2 draw. So, for me, I just feel that, Casper, Denor, Disco, and Stephen, I'm asking you both of these questions, how important is he to our midfield at the moment? I mean, he's forever present. He's played 3,250 minutes of football this season. One of the top minutes played, although he does come off sometimes 75 minutes, give him a bit of a rest. But how big player is he for us in this team?
Best compliment I can give him, for me, he's first name on the sheet at the moment. He is very much certainly midfield. It's Casper and who is the question. Yeah. He's just getting better and better. His all-round game. A couple of things. Firstly, that finish was outstanding. Watch the actual finish. And the young lady who did the commentary, I can't think of her name now. The Brummy lass. She was saying what a great finish it was, which it really was. A really good finish. It was great to hear him say that he'd actually said to Idemo, hadn't he, lay it back. I'll be there. Lay it back for me, because you didn't do it at Bristol. And he did, and he scored. So that was a special moment. I think the other 2 key points for me, that chase back for Jack Valadzzi that he did in the second half before he went off was outstanding. He went toe to toe with him for about 30 yards and didn't lose pace. In the end, he gave up. Jack Valadzzi gave up and tried to get a free kick. Never a free kick. And I think the biggest compliments was I've seen fan cams of the game, and when Casper was taken off, the fans was literally booing or under their breath. Were like, "What's going on?"
When he came off at first, a bit of a shock. Yeah,
it was a compliment, but obviously it was.
Well, he was our best player up until that point, weren't he, Stephen?
Yes,
and I feel that. I agree with you. I think he is, for me, the first name in the sheet at the moment, certainly on form and what it gives us. And Stephen Jones, what do you make of Casper? Obviously, you were there. You watched it. What do you make of his performance?
I think that obviously he was outstanding, and I think man of the match. I think Cooper was a very close second. As I said earlier, he was in the second half. First half, he let the guy go for the goal, so that probably does sway it a little bit. I think Casper Denor actually owes a lot at the moment to Neil Harris. I said it last week on the show. I think Neil Harris has instilled into Casper what it means to play for Millwall. He come from abroad. It isn't an easy place to come and play, because the fans expect you. We all do. We expect our players to turn up and be good. That's what you want. And I think Harris has instilled into him. He hasn't taken his quality out, but he's instilled into him that never say die, that fight that it takes to be a Millwall midfielder. And you see it, the chase back in the second half. When Casper first joined, I don't think he would have done that. I really don't think he would. And maybe himself, he'd be honest to say that. But excellent performance. He's rapidly becoming, well, if he wasn't already a fan favourite with the majority of the supporters. As we said last week on the show, he desperately needs a suitable partner, and when I say that, I mean that the other midfielders that we've got in our squad at the moment are just not good enough, in my opinion, to play regular minutes next to him.
You're right.
But as Steve said, he's probably the first name on the team sheet at the moment. He's outperforming Jaff, which if you said a couple of months ago that there'd be anyone that's anywhere near that level, you'd have been saying, I don't think so. But he's slowly catching up with the levels of Jaff, because he's doing it more regularly at the moment.
Do you think the Player of the Season award is over? It's given to Jaff? Or are we taking that award back off Jaff's hand and thinking, hang on a minute, we've got a contender here with Casper potentially sort of beating you to that award at the moment? What's your thoughts on that?
I still think it's going to take something quite remarkable to, Tanganga, let's be honest, hasn't quite been at it since the transfer window. Has there been any head turning? I actually thought he played quite well on Saturday. couple of times where he used his class sort of on the ball, and I thought he was, in the first half he was visibly frustrated. In the second half, you could tell he was up for it a little bit more. But Kasper is consistent now, and I think he's getting closer. Not yet, but he's getting closer. At the moment, he's probably the shoe-in for second spot.
Yeah, I agree. Just want to touch on, guys, very, very quickly as well. We talked about Cooper, especially in that second half. I think he was really putting out fires. He was colossal at the back when he was winning headers, and he was being commanding. And he showed what he is as a captain. Yes, he may not have the vocal side of it, but he was a leader on the pitch there. I thought he was outstanding. I think he outshowed Tanganga at times. The way he was winning those tackles and just getting the ball and playing lovely little passes and not having to hoof them too long. A quick mention to Marku, Stephen. We all know how important he could be to our team. He's got a frightening pace. Alex Neil seems to like him. I think Alex Neil needs to work with him a little bit still and try and get the best out of him. What do you make of his performance? He certainly grew into the game, didn't he? And of course, he got the assist as well, didn't he?
Just before I answer that, I'm going to do a Sky Sports News here. Derby have taken the lead against Coventry, which is quite a big goal, actually, because of their positions in the league. That's quite a big goal. But
playoff hopes are alive, still Disco.
Well, I think I'll be honest with you, and I might get some pelters for this, but in the first half, I actually thought Marku looked unfit. There was something not quite right about him. It just wasn't.
Did it look like he was holding an injury? For me, it felt like he had a bit of a tight groin or muscle-ish, and he wasn't quite sprinty or going for it, was he?
100%. He slipped over a couple of times, and it just looked a bit of a shabby performance. But he second half again, that directness, the drive, take on the fullbacks. You often see it, and it happens. It's happened a lot of the time when Marku's got game time. Teams straight away get two players. He goes past the fullback once, then they double up, and that's when you know that he's playing well. Look, I think again, Neil Harris probably got it a bit wrong with Marku. I think we should have been seeing a lot more of him, and Alex Neil is putting some trust in him. And I know it's only a small thing, but Marku's really, really prominent on social media. He loves an Instagram post. He loves a story. He loves talking about his performance.
Messages, isn't there? On there
he loves all that. And at the moment, he is a footballer, a young footballer who is clearly loving life at Millwall. He's just enjoying his football. He's enjoying playing. He's
playing with a smile on his face again, which he hasn't done for a long time, has he?
100%.
Disco, before we get your thoughts on them, just very quickly, guys, in the chat, Craig Jones, evening, the birthday boy is here. Happy birthday, Craig, mate. Hope you're good. Happy birthday from everyone from Chat with Chat podcast, and of course all the gang in the chat. We're wishing you a happy birthday, mate. Hope you're having a good one. David Martin, thanks for reminding me again.
Do you know Craig?
Do I know Craig? Yes, yeah.
Yeah. I was going to say, let's guess his age. I don't know him.
Oh, right. No.
I
think I do know his age because he played in the charity. He played in the charity game with me.
He's not old, is he? I think, is he 32? I'm going 32, Craig. Tell me if I'm higher or lower.
32, and I don't know the guy. Go on, I'll go 33.
We'll play a bit of Bruce Forsyth. Play your cards. Higher or lower, 32. What are we going?
I'm not out in Craig at all, but
in the chat. Higher or lower?
Not a bloody woman who's going to get higher or lower.
Is Craig older than 32 or younger than 32? Put it in the chat. Dave Martin, thanks again, mate, for reminding me. Guys, I keep forgetting. Please smash the like button, subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do it. And please like the show as well, because as you know, everything we make this channel goes to Cancer Research UK. There's going to be an announcement out soon. Chris is going to talk to you guys about it. We're going to do a big thing shortly for Cancer Research UK. So again, all your likes, all your comments, all your shares, subscribes, it all helps with the algorithm. So please do that. I want to talk about Cundle as well, Disco. So we'll touch on Marku and then Cundle, just to touch on that one. Number 10 is such an important role. As you know, I've not say slated Honeyman in the past. I rate Honeyman. I think he's a good central midfielder, but I don't see him as a winger or a number 10. And I do like Bangor Williams, as Simon just said here as well. What's your thoughts on Cundle after you just cover off with Marku? And we'll touch on that one next, please.
I'm a fan of Cundle, and I still think he's going to come good, but you cannot deny the last few games he's been very, very quiet and hasn't contributed. I thought, funny enough, in the first half, he had a chance, didn't he, to lay a ball out to Imaku to put him through, and he put it about 20 yards in front, a simple pass, and it was awful. It was like, Jesus, he has got the Millwall bloody bug. So, look, I think it's time. I think it's time for him to have a rest, and I think we've got the benefit of either Race to go in there or even Connolly. I think I wouldn't mind seeing him have a little go in there because I think he's got something to offer. But I hate to upset everybody. I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's an Alex Neil player. I think he rates him, he likes him, and he seems set on playing him. But I think Alex should have a look and think he's not been doing enough to really warrant starting right now. So yeah, I think he should be on the bench.
Yeah, interesting.
I don't think he's useless, Carl. I get what you meant. Look, all I'd say with that, Carl, is let's not forget Aziz. When Aziz started, we were all on him, weren't we? We were all like, the guy can't play. Gee, out of his depth. Look at him now. Fantastic player. And look, the thing for me with Cundle, you can see he's got technical ability, even though he couldn't bloody pass it 10 yards.
Which is what David Turner is saying here as well.
Yeah.
Going to yourself, Stephen. Hear what Disco just said there as well. Do you think there's an element of Alex Neil kind of wanted him? We paid out, was it 1.2 million for him? I guess in some ways he's got to kind of make it work. I mean, there are other options. Obviously, as we spoke before, we've got Bangura Williams, who personally, a bit like who's that mentioned it here? I can't try to think who said it now. It was Simon. Personally, I feel he should be our number 10, Stephen. I'll be saying it's all season long. But do you feel that maybe there's an obligation for Alex Neil to kind of keep playing Cundle and keep working with him to try and get him out of it? Or is he doing enough for Alex Neil, in his opinion, that he warrants a place in the team at the moment?
I think it's the argument that we spoke about last week, investment versus the academy. The club have clearly invested in Cundle. They've identified him as a player that they wanted. I think there's a lot of other championship clubs and championship fans that had they have signed Cundle, they would have been very, very happy with the signing, and as were we. I still think there's a player in there. I just don't think, and again, I was talking about this on Saturday, I don't think we have the right players or we have the right setup for Cundle at the moment. He needs to have the midfielders, both midfielders, feeding him the ball. Wing backs or fullbacks pushing up for him to play passes. Yeah, okay, he has to take some accountability for his own game, but I don't think we've got the right setup at the moment. We need at the moment, the way we play is we need someone that's going to pick the ball up and make something happen and take the game by the scruff of the neck. I think Cundle was a little bit more of a luxury play. He wants the ball to feet. He wants to do it in his own time. And that's fine if you're playing in a good team and a settled team. We make changes every week because we've got injuries and we don't, we're trying to stop opposition and things like that.
You mentioned there, I mean, you talk about having a player that's going to make things happen and create things. I mean, even against Watford, he comes on the last few minutes. Okay, again, playing out of position. He's playing on the right wing. We talked about this before. That's not his natural position. But yet he's got that composure, on the ball to hold the ball up, look for that pass, plays a lovely ball into Crammer, the perfect weighted ball for Crammer to cross that ball and for Coburn's goal. And I just feel, for me, RBW creates things. He makes things happen when he's on that in those areas, doesn't he?
And that is exactly where I was going. That if you watch Bangura Williams, if he picks the ball up and he's facing our defenders and our goalkeeper, the first thing he does is turn. Yeah. He turns and goes forward. Now, okay, sometimes you're going to have someone right behind you and you're going to lose the ball, or it's not always going to happen. But his first instinct is to turn. What can I do? Who can I pick out? Where can I? Yeah. And Cundle doesn't do that enough for me.
No.
He gets the ball and it's slow, it's lethargic, it's trying to play the killer pass, whereas Bangura Williams is a little bit more, right, give me the ball, let me see what I can do. He's very similar to Romain Esse. Esse was the same. He wanted the ball, he wanted to make things happen.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know why I keep saying this, Joe, but I'm with you. I think Bangura Williams he's the number 10 at the moment. And he was hindered massively by coming out of the squad. He should have been given game time.
I agree, completely agree. Because at that point, I think he was just building those momentum of fitness, wasn't he, at that time? And of course, him coming out the squad, he had to kind of almost like start again a little bit, hasn't he? You know, and it's such a shame. And again, you know, for me, like I said, that's important for me. A number 10 has to make things happen. Lots of love there for Craig. Everyone's saying higher. A couple saying lower. Put out your mystery. He's 40. There you go, the big one. 40. So next season, so this year, Craig, if the game goes ahead at the day, the charity game, you'll be playing for the Vets, I believe. Is it 40 or 45, Stephen? I'm pretty sure it's 40, isn't it?
40.
Is it 40?
You should know, Joe. You play in the old boys.
I'm only 27, Stephen. Moving on. So again,
he's just never scored at the Den, though, has he, Stephen? Unfortunately,
he hasn't scored yet, has he? No, exactly. Don't get me started, for I'll pull it out this guy otherwise. But yeah, again, a lot of love in the chat for Bangura Williams, and rightly so. I think, you know, yes, he's young, as Ollie says, he's got time to develop, but you know. It'll be fun if you're good enough, you're old enough. You know, that's the way that I look at it, you know. Now, with regards to our forwards, Disco, obviously Coburn comes in, it starts in place of Ivanovic, he scores. He's now got 5 goals this season, so has Ivanovic as well. The difference is Coburn's done it in 16 games, Ivanovic has done it in 27 games. And Coburn's got an assist as well. So to break down what that means in minutes is Coburn's done that in 516 minutes and Ivanovic done that in 1,409 minutes. Now, they're very different players, Ivanovic and Coburn, but in your opinion, who should start for Millwall? Again, in the chat, guys, please put it in. Coburn or the big fucking Serb, BFS. Put it in the chat and let me know who you would pick. But we'll go for you, Disco, first, and then Stephen after.
Look, for me, I'll be honest, I've been a bit disappointed with Josh Coburn since he's returned from his injury. He hasn't looked quite the same player. I don't know if he's getting back to full match fitness, certainly. I don't know if he's being a little bit more cautious to not get injured, because I think back to the Oxford game where he got injured. I think that was a little bit self-inflicted. He got into battles with the centre half and ended up coming worse off. So he's maybe being a little more cautious. And the first half Saturday again, not much to show for his efforts. Second half, I thought like Palace, he grew into the game, and then an absolutely brilliant goal. In answer to your question, I would right now start with Coburn all day long, you know. And I know a lot of people love the Serb, and that is not a criticism of the Serb. I just think, as per your stats, Josh is more likely to give us a little bit more, but more importantly, get us a goal.
Okay, interesting point there from Disco. Stephen, do you agree with Disco or do you disagree? Who would you pick out of Coburn and the BFS to start?
First time for me to disagree with someone.
It's going to take you 33 minutes. Jesus Christ, a PB for you, Stephen.
I think it's Ivanovic, personally. I feel like Ivanovic offers you... I think he offers a little bit more in the sense, I think he's a bit more of a willing runner. I think he can score a lot more different type of goals. I think if you look at the goals that Coburn has scored, I'm not going to get all of them, but the header was he within the 6-yard box on Saturday. Against Derby, he was inside the 6-yard box. Against Stoke, he was inside the 6-yard box. They're all very similar. He's waiting for that ball in the box. He's a big striker. He's going to be, you know, good in the air, etc. It's obvious. But I think Ivanovic offers you more variety. He can score different types of goals. I think he can create something out of nothing. And there was a comment in the chat, which I'm sure you'll get to. Ivanovic, much like for the time being, much like the argument with Cundle, he's our player and we've invested money into him. There is a possibility that we don't get Josh Coburn back next year.
Yeah.
I know we want him. Yeah, I know we want him. But there's no guarantee he's going to come back. And I think, I just think Ivanovic, he's the one for me that let's face it, maybe we've all getting a bit excited about him and the chance, but he's the one they've really invested in. He's the one that's going to be the future, the next one that maybe is on the conveyor belt to make money. And I think we need to find a system to suit him. Personally, I think it's got to be the Serb.
Yeah, interesting to hear both your opinions. I think both of you are right in what you're saying. And it's a real tough one to sort of decide really out of the two. I think they both offer us a lot, what they do. I think what's interesting with Coburn is that he can score goals from crosses, almost half chances in the box, whereas Ivanovic, I think he needs to play with somebody that's going to feed him and create goals for him. We saw Bangura Williams create 2 goals from this season, didn't we? From passes and balls he put through to him. And I think Ivanovic is that sort of player. He needs the supply. He needs the right kind of ball to play to his feet for him to score these goals. So I think it all depends on really who's playing around him, I guess.
Joe, before we move on, rather than sit on the fence, you've got Steve with Coburn, you've got me with Ivanovic. Who are you picking?
Oh God! I
might go to come on,
the next segment. Oh, this is a tough one, isn't it? You know what? I like them both. I think I said before. I think they add a lot of value.
Nah, he's sitting on the fence.
If I'm gonna pick one, I'm gonna go for the BFS Ivanovic. I just think technically, I think he's a better player. Coburn, offers I said great strength, good in the air, good hold up play. But I think technically Ivanovic is a better player. But you have to play Bangura Williams in the 10 behind him. There's no point playing Honeyman there. You need creativity. And if you give creativity and you make things happen for Ivanovic, he will score goals.
Tell you what I would say, Joe, though, and Stephen, what a nice problem for a change for Millwall to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
We haven't had that for a few years, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Really to Matt Richards, that is actually minutes, combined minutes on the pitch, that is. So substitute appearances, whatever it is, just combined. So it's a big difference there, isn't it, between Ivanovic and Coburn at the moment. Lots of comments coming to the chat. So just going through this very, very quickly. Everyone's going for a big fucking Serb there for Carl. Alex going for BFS and RBW. Seem well to link up well. Exactly my point. It's exactly what I said earlier. Samuel saying depends on the game plan. Coburn and BFS are different players. What's more experience at the moment? So he shanes it. Mahara's very close to learning. So again, we're kind of split here, aren't we? BFS, we could win game out of nothing. Josh can't. Interesting debate, this one, really, isn't it?
I think
you can see from the chat, really.
It also, and I've said this, and I keep saying it, and I'm going to bang the drum until the end of the season. Nobody, including Alex Neil, really knows what our best team is. They don't. Yeah. We really don't. If I know we're never going to be in a position where every player is available, but if we had every player available in this squad,
and it takes free kicks as well.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
if we had every player available, I guarantee the three of us would probably pick a different starting 11. As will the listeners. So Alex Neil has got the same issues that. I mean, he's paid to do it, so obviously he's going to have more pressure, but he's got the same issues as everybody else.
Absolutely. Cheers for that, guys. Moving on, Samuel James says, any thoughts on the season ticket increase? I'm okay with it, but I do think Millwall TV. What do you mean, Samuel? I'm not quite sure what that means. Yeah, maybe if you can elaborate on that one. But we'll discuss it anyway, guys. Millwall Football Club have announced that there will be season ticket increases next season. Now, over the years, they've been pretty good, Millwall. They haven't increased the price of season tickets. I think they increased it last season for the first time in a very long time. And of course, it's going up again for next season. Just to give you an idea. So Phil Clark, hi Phil, hope you're well if you're watching. Put some stuff on Twitter today, just give you an idea of the prices. So just to put something on the screen there, you can see here adult prices, the increase that's gone up. So Barry Kitchen at upper, you got the low, you got the Dockers. You can see the prices there. So it's gone up by 8% to sort of like 10% really on everything for the adults. For over 64s, they've gone up again, and even on the Dockers lower, 16% increase, which is quite a high increase from 240 to 280. You then look at the armed forces, under 18s, under 21s. Again, you're looking at anything there between sort of 3-5%, 4% to 16-17% for armed forces, which I think is quite a lot. Under 18 and 21s, again, you're looking at increases up to around 16-17% on a few of those. What's really interesting is notable is that when we get to the younger generation, it goes up quite substantially. You look at under 18s, you've got up to 31% on the Crowborough Lane end lower, which is interesting. For the under 14s, under 16s, you're looking at sort of between 10, 20, 30, 20%, 25%, 37%, 40%. It's a big increase. Okay, you could argue £60 was probably quite cheap anyway, so it's £100. It's not a huge difference, but it is when you think about the percentages there. We go a little bit further. Under 14s, I mean, look at that. That's a massive increase there, isn't it? And I'm not being funny, but I think these kids' prices seem quite high. I mean, I guess they started off quite young, and I guess if you look at what they're actually going to be charging, there's not a lot really when you think about it. I think someone's almost had a bit of a moment and realised, what we're doing. We had these prices so long, have we, for such a long time? We are very, very, very sort of cheap, and we need to increase, but they've obviously increased it quite heavily. I don't know what you guys think about that, but personally, I think it's a big increase. I think a lot of it is justifiable. I think it's only because we've been so cheap for such a long time, particularly with the youngsters. But what I'd like to see them doing more often is maybe for the evening midweek kickoffs is introduce kids for £1 again. They used to do that, didn't in previous seasons. They don't do that anymore, and it does seem quite lifeless and quite soulless in the evening games where the guys are televised on Sky and the red button. Seeing ticket holders, especially when the weather's quite cold, they don't turn up for games. And it's pretty embarrassing. The game against, I think it was Bristol City. I don't know if you were there, Stephen, but it was just a very, very quiet game. Just nothing. Bristol City just took over, didn't they? And I think that the idea is if you bring the kids in there for £1, they're not going to rock up on their own, are they? If they're 8, 9, 10 years old, they're going to bring their parents with them, which will be a full paying adult, and that's going to help generate more revenue. So I don't know what you guys think about the whole shebang there, guys.
So the other thing I'll add, obviously, before I answer your question, is that they used to also do that. Bring a friend for £5. It used to be, and it was only maybe once or twice a season, and you'd get the argument, season ticket holders moan about it. That would I rather us have a bit of a shambles attendance against Bristol City, or would I rather bring a mate for £5? I've got friends who support other clubs that would probably come along they have come to other games. So I think that incentives is one thing that the club probably need to have a look at. In terms of the prices, I think we all knew that they were coming. The national insurance piece was doing the rounds with the supporters club, that the club are going to be paying more, so they were going to try and find a way of compensating for that. Me personally, I am paying an extra £1.73 per game, and it works out that for every home game, my ticket costs me £18, £18.70, I think it is. Now, for value for money, it's excellent. At this level of football in London, it really is. I understand, and there is comments about the the movement of kickoff times, midweek games, Sky having their 2 pence worth. There's a lot of factors that go into it, and everybody is going to be different. I don't have children, so I can't comment on the having to pay extra for the kids' tickets. I don't agree with it. I will say that I do not agree with it, but I can't. That doesn't necessarily impact me, so I'm not the best person to comment on that. But I don't. Sorry, Joe, I don't think that. I think value for money wise, I don't think it's too bad. But to be a season ticket holder, it used to be a really big thing, and at the moment, it almost feels like it's just kind of like, well, you get your games, and that's about it, really. And I can see why people are considering not renewing.
Which brings me to this point, Disco. So Chris Brown says Millwall TV has gone up as well. I think it's gone up by £1. It used to be £5, now £6, I believe. And then Sangu Jones makes a great point here: is that Millwall TV should be included with a season ticket holder, which is what Stephen's saying there. In that, I guess there's no privileges, no real extra kind of benefits of being a season ticket holder at the moment. What's your thoughts on the price increase, Disco? And are the club doing right by the kids? Should they be doing a little bit different? Maybe trying to bring more fans in.
Yeah, look, damned if you do, damned if you don't. Then it's very awkward, commercially for a club like ours. I think, look, I feel a bit awkward talking about it. I haven't been a season ticket holder for years and years, so only a member and Millwall TV, which I'll come on to. But looking at those prices, you look at percentages and it looks 16%. Fuck me, that's pretty horrific. Actually, though, I know I might be wrong here, but I look at them prices and I still feel they're pretty affordable for the amount of games that you get. And I think the key is, and even the kids there, look, big percentage increases. But what was it, 34 quid, Joe, for a kid? I mean, it's not a lot of money.
It's not a lot, no.
By game, especially.
And also, Matt just said there, sorry, for the under 18 start, they were actually wrong. They're actually decreases, not increases. So cheers for that, Matt, as well.
Right.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right.
Actually. But so I think it's still reasonable. I think the club's in a bit of a quandary in that they've, as I think you guys have said, we've held prices for as long as we can. Now you actually put a price increase in, it's probably more than they'd want to. Yeah. So it looks terrible, but no.
But really and truly, we're probably on the level, Disco, would you say, maybe? Yeah. I mean, Matt makes a great point here. Matt Richards says, prices going up everywhere at the moment. Clubs' costs will be going up. Mine was frozen last year. Another £40 more isn't a rip-off, in my opinion. So everyone has different sort of,
Can you still pay in instalments as well, like monthly or quarterly or something? So it's not. It's look. Yeah. Look, the key, the classic will be if we keep investing in the team and the club like we are doing. That becomes very good value for money. Even better than that, if we start to produce on the pitch better, which it looks like we're going that way, nobody will be talking about prices. They'll be loving it, so that's a big part of it as well. Millwall TV, look, I'm a member of that. I'm pretty sure 2 years ago it was only like 3 or 4 quid. That has progressively gone up. But again, £6 a month for the content you get, it's pretty good for me.
Yeah, I think just in general, football fans, Millwall fans, included, I think no one wants to pay money or more money than they have to. We all want it for free, don't we? But you're right, when you kind of simplify it, it's £5-6 a month. You get all that content, you get all the interviews, you get to watch the extended match highlights and the games back again in full, don't you, as well? So it is pretty good. Gary Miles says my old Git price in Block 5 has gone up at £24. Can't really moan about that. No, that's right.
But you won't get your heating bill paid. No,
exactly.
And listen, the good news is for Craig, he's only got 24 years and he'll get a super discount on over 64s.
And it'll probably increase by 47% by then, won't it, as well? So stay look forward to there, Craig, ain't you? £10 hot down the German stand. Yeah, again, we can't really control prices of these private catering companies that come in. Are the clubs still honouring Lions cards? I think on the season ticket you do get a discount for meals, like a pie and a pint, don't you? You get is it 10% off, 50% off? I think it might be, or they do things like that, don't they? So I guess there are some small bits.
The problem is, and someone again, one of the comments said that everything's going up: phone contracts, energy, food, mortgages, whatever. And I think it is going to football for some people, for a lot of people, is a luxury, and it is a luxury following your football team. It's a hobby that I think ultimately the club, as Steve said, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. You're always going to upset some people. I do feel like the Millwall TV thing is a very much a topic that maybe for another day, because I think there's a lot of people that say, if you're a season ticket holder, why should you have to pay extra to hear your manager talk about the game? And why do I understand that the bonus content or the extended highlights or whatever that may be, but once they've put out a little bit more this year. When Harris spoke in his last interviews and when Alex Neil took the job and stuff, they have put a little bit more out. But there's a lot of clubs, if you look out there, that do a lot on YouTube. And the Millwall YouTube channel is average at best. I think that's the best way to describe it. So there will always be that that side of me that thinks, as a season ticket holder, I think personally, I'm not asking for the world. I would never ask for the world. I volunteer to buy my season ticket because I want to follow my club. But I feel like, apart from having priority to away games, which there isn't that many more that now that you really look forward to, like QPRs and Palace or whatnot, there's no real benefit, and Millwall TV should be in that conversation for me.
Yeah, no, I agree. Guys, staying on the topic slightly, the 12:30 kickoff times. This is happening again. It's been brought up on social media quite a bit. Some fans complaining. And again, I'm going to bring up a tweet from Phil Clark earlier. I've checked with Phil. He's okay for me to share this. So cheers to that, Phil. So Phil Clark said, will the 12:30 p.m. kickoffs affect decisions around season ticket renewals for next season? So far this season, we've played 18 home games. 6 of them have been midweek games. 8 of them have been a normal 3 p.m. start on a Saturday. 3 of them have been 12:30 p.m. starts, and 1 have been a 3 p.m. on a Sunday. So to this date, this season, it's 3 of the 11 home Saturday fixtures, which is 27%, has been played at 12:30 on a Saturday. So therefore, if you bought the most expensive season ticket of £515, which is the Kitchener stand, and missed all the early Saturday kickoffs, the season ticket game would go from £22.39 per game, which would be 23 games, to now £27, which would only be 19 games. So something that goes up by about a fiver, let's say, I guess the point that Phil Clark's making here is, if you're a season ticket holder and you've got commitments on a Saturday morning, whether it be kids football or you've got work. I know my son works sometimes on a Saturday morning. He misses some games as well. You have got that problem there where you're not going to be able to attend these games. So again, what's your thoughts on that? I mean, I guess it's tailored to the individual, isn't it? Would you agree? I mean, start with yourself, Stephen.
Yeah, it's individual circumstances, and look, this is a really interesting point, because I'll use me as an example and my dad. I go to games. Those that have seen me, Joe, I go to the games with my dad, and he is impacted massively by midweek and early kickoffs. He has a big problem with getting to certain games with things like that. So he's not getting the same value that I'm getting, because I'm fortunate enough to work in a job where I do Monday to Friday. Yeah. So we are impacted at, what we do together, and that will be the same for other people with different circumstances. The club haven't got a say in the early kickoffs, and that's the unfortunate thing. They've sold their soul to Sky, much like everyone else has. So, if Sky say we're playing your game at 12:30, well, that's what's happening. That's the end of it. That's right. But it will impact. It will impact, and I do feel sorry for people that work shifts and that have again the kids football. You got to say to your son or daughter that, do you want to play on Saturday or do you want to go to Millwall? They shouldn't have to make that choice, but that's not Millwall's fault. And the individual then has to make up their mind. Is it worth buying a season ticket, or should I go down the membership route?
Good point. For yourself, before I go to Disco, get Disco's thoughts. Just name yourself, Stephen. What's your thoughts on 12:30 kickoff? Are you for or against it?
I don't mind them. I'm going to get pelters for this now because from the chat, but I don't mind them. As I say, it does open up. If it's not, again, my circumstances mean that the game finishes at about 2:30, and then you've got the rest of Saturday to go and enjoy it with my girlfriend, with friends. It opens up that Saturday a lot more for me. I love the 3 o'clock on a Saturday. It's old school. It's traditional. That's what I grew up with. But I'm not against it. But I understand the argument why people don't like it and why people are so against it. And don't get me wrong, the away games at 12:30 are an absolute nightmare. We were lucky that Watford was virtually up the road on Saturday, because other games you've got to travel miles.
Yeah. I guess so. And coming to yourself, Disco. I mean, I know obviously you don't go to many games. You live so far away at the moment. But what's your thoughts on the 12:30 kickoffs? Are you kind of a fan of it? Are you against the idea? Can you see the frustration with certain fans? Equally, there are other fans like Steve, so they probably quite like the 12:30 kickoff.
I think the stats speak for themselves, don't they? Look, most people, the crowds are lower with the earlier kickoffs generally. So I think that people do prefer the old traditional, as Stephen says, 3 o'clock kickoff. But yeah, I guess there are advantages to an early kickoff. Depends on your circumstance. Certainly, travelling away, it can be a bloody nightmare. But look, at the end of the day, that's the key point. It is not the club. It is Sky who now run football, and
money talks, isn't it? Yeah.
Money talks. We comply with that. So, look, good point from Phil. Going back to the season ticket prices, at the end of the day, commercially, that is still a good decision. It looks like, it is to get a season ticket. That you're going to get cheaper football, even if you miss a couple of games. And look, the final thing from me on that is I wonder how much we're going to charge the Daily Mail for their season ticket next year.
Here's a question to you guys. Do you think the club should reimburse season ticket holders if they can't attend a 12:30 game? I mean, I know it's going to probably cost them a lot of money to do this, or even give them some credit towards away games maybe that they could use for purchasing tickets or something. What's your thoughts on that?
Unfortunately, I don't think the selling back the ticket would be a really really good thing for those people that are impacted by the 12:30. Unfortunately, you see in the press all the time, if Man United season ticket holders don't use their season ticket, they get blacklisted, they get this, that, and the other, because there is a need for that ticket to go to someone else. Unfortunately, we're not in the position where Millwall can say, oh, well, we'll just sell your ticket to someone else, because we just don't have that luxury. Yeah. They could perhaps offer and say, look, you can sell back your ticket 3 times a season. You get 3 games. If you tell us in enough, if you can't make a game, you can sell back 3. And once you've had your 3, and if you miss a 4th, it's unfortunate.
That's down to you.
That's down to you. They could perhaps do that, but it would cost the club a lot of money, because there'll be a lot of people that will go on a Tuesday night. Oh, sod this, I'm not going. It's on the telly. I'll just get me money.
Yeah, that's it. It's an easy cop out then. Yeah, absolutely. So it's a very, very tough. But my own opinion, I quite like the 12:30 kickoffs. Only because it doesn't affect me. It's a shame when my son can't go sometimes, but I like the idea. I don't know. I'm like a kid at Christmas sometimes. I wake up in the morning. It's match day. I don't want to waste like 2-3 hours before I get in the car and go to Millwall. I want to get up, have a shower, get my breakfast in, then boom, go and watch Millwall. And as you say, Stephen, early kickoff. You've got the rest of the day ahead of you. You could do what you want. Go out in the afternoon or the evening and still make a good day of it. So it's everyone's got their own opinion, I guess, haven't they? So it's interesting to have that topic. So
it's moving on, that's for sure, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm sure it will be discussed again, Disco, going forward. Absolutely. Next topic I want to discuss is Kevin Nisbit, Disco.
At the moment, we've gone right over here now. Then, wow.
At the moment, he seems to be injury-free and scoring goals for free as well, for fun. Played 28 games for Aberdeen this season, scored 10 goals, 4 assists, and he's played 1,473 minutes of competitive football for Aberdeen. And it's just been announced he's been brought into the Scotland squad to play the two games against Greece, home and away. What's your thoughts on Kevin Nisbit, Disco? Is there a future for him next season with Alex Neil in charge?
Answer to that is I very much doubt it. I mean, Alex will have his own decision with that, won't he? I'll balance it and say, look, I've always thought there's a player there with Nisbit without a shadow of a doubt. In terms of finishing, he's probably I think you've said it several times, Joe. He's the best in the club by a country mile.
The players. Sorry to interrupt there. You're right. A couple of players, without naming names, in the club said in training he was by far. This was last season. He was by far the best finisher, and that was with Fleming there. That was with Obafemi there. Yeah, he was by far the best finisher in training. So.
He scored a couple of goals where he's literally just caressed past it into the net. He's got that quality. Yeah. So I had really high hopes for him, and I still feel there is a player in there, but clearly something's not quite right. His mindset's not right, and he's still a bit of a lad, all that. Although he's got into the international squad, so he can't be a muppet. But I don't think it's worked for him coming down here. And look, I'll be honest, I think the fans would struggle. It would really split opinion, and I think he'd get a bad unless he came back and was, scoring goals for fun. I think he'd get a really bad time from a lot of our fans. I think it would be an awkward one. So look, if we could get, I don't know, does his contract finish this season or the end of next season?
I don't know if this is right, Steve. I think he's got another year left, isn't he, on his contract after this one?
Yeah,
so
3 when
he is due to come back.
Yeah. If we could get some money for him, I think that's probably the best solution. But that's not because I don't rate him as a player. I just don't see him settling back in with our team and squad right now.
Yeah. Do you agree with this, Coach Steve, on that point? Do you feel that it's the player, or do you feel it's just the man management of the player? Maybe Alex Neil in charge with that Scottish connection. They might have a better understanding, get a better out of him.
I don't think it's dead in the water, the idea of Nisbet coming back and having a pre-season with us. I think Alex Neil is shrewd enough to think, look, he's on the books. He is a Millwall player. Let's have a look at him. I think the point that Steve made about the fans' reaction and the fact that Nisbet probably is going to have to come in and be a little bit of a world beater to get some people on side, that could be a little bit of a stumbling block. And also the fact he's loving life in Scotland. That's where he's from. He may just want to go back, and it's been a failed experiment. I don't think it's dead in the water. Personally, to answer the question that Alex said there, if you're keeping one, Nisbet or Langstaff, this is an incredible thing to say, because I don't think anyone would have said this at this point, but it would be Nisbet for me. I think Langstaff I think something has happened behind the scenes. I think he's just completely shot of confidence, and again another experiment that's perhaps gone wrong. But if he scores for Scotland or finds a run of form and plays really, really well, I would be seriously tempted for Millwall to just say, look, get the money, get some money.
Really?
No, get some money.
I'll go the other way. I thought you were going to say they're going to say, let's get him pre-season, let's work him in the summer, let's try and get one more go.
We could do that, but if the player decides he doesn't, we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. I don't think it's dead in the water that he won't come back to Millwall and have an opportunity. But I think if an offer come in to recoup some of the money that we paid for him previously, I think the club will go, do you know what, we cut our losses, thank you very much, on you go.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, Disco, is it fair to say the problems with Nisbet was a little bit down to Neil Harris? I'm not saying that Neil Harris was the reason why it didn't work out, but Neil Harris's management of him was a little bit ruthless in the sense that he wanted him out. He didn't feel that he was right to have in the squad. So with Alex Neil in charge, I'm not sure how much Jimmy's going to have involved James Berrison in whether he decides that he wants to have him back or not. He's still under contract, but Alex Neil might suggest, you know what, I know a bit about him, or I know people in Scotland who know him, and blah, blah, blah. He's a good player. I know the coaches at Aberdeen or whatever. And there could be an opportunity for him to come back and prove himself a second time. Would you be okay with that?
I think to answer that first, I think a big part of all that we're saying is whether he wants it or not. If he in his mind is, I want to make it in the Championship, and I want to prove I can do it in London, and that's massive. If that's the case, then I'd have him back, and etc. etc. Sorry, what was the other point? The Neil Harris. So
yes,
no, Joe, I'm not having that. I think, look, Bomber came in at a really difficult time for the club. He did a fantastic, this time last year, did a miraculous job turning it around and keeping us up. And thank God we could be languishing in the bloody first division now, as we no doubt would be. So he did a great job, and he expected certain standards. And he fell below those standards, as did Obafemi. I was quite a fan of Obafemi, to be fair. And he stuck to it, and it wasn't victimisation, was it, or anything like that. The two of them, it seems, were out on the piss or didn't follow guidance and rules. And he made it very clear, no, I'm not having that, and treated them equally. And so fair play to Bomber, for me, anyway.
Yeah. Just go to the chat very quickly, guys. So Jesper says, does Nisbet fit the new model which JB wants to install? I think it's talking about age or something. I think he's 20. 8 years old, I think, Nisbit, I think from memory.
Yeah.
So he's not exactly young. But then saying that, Langstaff's 28 as well, isn't he? Dave Miles says pre-season makes sense if Nisbet is up for the challenge. To your point, Disco, if he wants it, give him that chance.
Yeah.
Matt Richards says it's probably worth pre-season, but yes, he might just want to stay up there. Chris Brown says, didn't Harris have a problem with Nisbet? Alex might get more out of him, which is what I was saying. Connor says, Alex Neil will be keeping an eye on him, but I would have him for one more go. He wasn't a bad striker, just attitude problems. So, I think, again, a lot of people in the chat are saying that, he is a decent player. He can add value. Cheers for that, David. Yeah, so Nisbet is now 28. Can't see him fit into the model exactly. So, potentially, there could be an opportunity for him. He's a decent striker. I think if he keeps scoring, stays injury-free, why should we sell him for cheap for peanuts when we might be able to get something out of it, or at least give Alex Neil a chance to get something out of it? And you know what? If it doesn't work out, sell him next winter in the January transfer window. I know he only have probably 6 months of his contract, but just let him go then, I suppose.
I think the biggest problem that we're going to have is that this season we've sold our 2 best players, probably, if we're being honest, and made big money for Millwall. In Millwall terms, we've made big money, over £20 million, and we've reinvested a lot of that money. If there's an opportunity to recoup funds, I cannot see the club turning that opportunity down. It's the same. It's exactly the same as Bradshaw. I don't know what Oxford paid for him. It'd have been peanuts, but they recouped something, and I think they'd be looking the same with Langstaff. They'd be looking the same with Nisbet, unless he comes back with the right attitude. If there's money on the table, Mill will go, thank you very much. We'll take that and we'll move on to someone else.
Good question here from Hassan is, you have to ask the question, is Nisbet better than Mihailo or even Coburn if he signs for next season? He'll be third choice striker. I mean, would he be third choice striker? I mean, would you say that they are miles ahead of him? With a fit Nisbet with his head on, could he be up there competing against those two?
Lot of ifs there, Joe, isn't there? So look, as it currently stands, yes, he would be third choice. But as I say, it's all down to him. What's interesting, I know not all players are on social media and all that, but there hasn't been much love back from him, has there, while he's been up there? Do you get what I mean? Like, sometimes a player might keep in touch and even just subtly dropping the odd message out saying, well done, lads, great result, or whatever, showing I'm still interested. If I was a betting man, I'd say he in his mind, he's gone. I might be wrong, but I'd say he's gone and he wants to stay up.
But also, don't forget, like Chris Brown just said there, we've still got Lovelace who will be coming back fit and ready for next season as well. We've got the young striker from was it Sunderland?
Yes,
Middlesbrough.
Sorry, AJ. I know he's still young, but we have a lot of competition for strikers at the moment. So, personally, I'll give him this bit a go. I like what I saw of him. I can see technically he's a good player. I think he just needs the right manager to get the best out of him. Maybe
just playing a little bit of devil's advocate. What about a partnership of Ivanovic and Nisbet as a two?
Well, look.
Again, I think they're quite similar. Would you not say? I'd rather see like a Lovelace with Ivanovic, maybe.
I think, and I've said it for the last striker, really good striker that could hold the ball up and play on his own. For me, prior to maybe recent history, was someone like Steve Morrison, someone big who can move. I don't see Ivanovic or Coburn doing. I've always said I think they needed a partner, and I think Nisbet could do that. But we've got young strikers that, again, the club. It's that it all boils down to, and Nisbet falls into the category investment and the model. Lovelace fits it. AJ Matthews fits it. Does a 28-year-old Kevin Nisbet? I don't know.
Who's got allegedly off the fields.
Yeah,
antics or whatever people are talking about, aren't they? So you don't know whether that's true or not. Of course, we don't know, but if he can get his head right and and come back and be positive and get his his shit together, then why not? I think we'll give him a go. But you're right, he's not going to give us a lot of sell-on value at the moment. So to your point, Stephen, I can see us trying to get rid of him now with a new module and just try and
let's hope he does really well for Scotland. You know, gets a couple of games. Imagine a couple of goals that could transform it for everybody.
Yeah, and Dave makes a good point here as well. With our injury list, we need as many strikers as possible, especially with no guarantee that Coleman's going to be here next season. If he is going to be here next season, is he going to be fit to play? Would he get injured? We don't know, do we? So
Joe, just send them in your clip. If we're desperate for a striker, send your clip in, and
I will do. I'll do my highlights reel and I'll put it together, and I'm sure I can fill the voids. Okay, moving forward, guys. Move on to the next bit. So, guys, have you seen Millwall social media today? They talked about the GOAT, the greatest of all time. In your opinion, guys, in the chat, and I know some of you have been supporting Millwall for about 100 years, so put in there your greatest of all time Millwall player that you've seen and you watched. Okay, it has to be a player that you've seen, that you've watched during your era. Who in the chat? Put it in the chat. Who is your greatest of all time Millwall player? And while we'll wait for the chat to come through, we'll start with you, Disco. Who's your greatest of all time Millwall player?
I think I've said on here before. Sadly, some of our younger audience won't remember him, but. For me, the greatest of all time was a guy called Gordon Hill, Merlin, as he was known.
Went to Man United, didn't he? The winger.
Man United, broke my heart, cried my eyes out. I was only a young lad, so cried my eyes. Yeah. He was an absolute magician. Was called Merlin, and he was superb, as he was for Man United and England. Played for England. Yeah. Bit of a joker, bit of a character as well. Was he? And it was one of those.
Joe's still on Twitter, Disco. He's on Twitter.
Yeah, he lives in America now. He lives in America.
Okay.
And he's one of those, he does comment on Man United, he comments on Millwall. He's offered to come and help us out in the past when we've had manager problems and what have you.
Yeah, so we'll get his boots on.
Absolutely. But honestly, talk about a wand of a left foot. He was absolutely superb. And being a young lad, as I was then, it just felt like he always used to score a winner. And I think I looked up some stats a little while ago, and I think he only scored a dozen goals for us. I might be wrong. It wasn't huge amounts, but it seemed like he scored every week at the Den. And it always seemed like we needed to score to win a game or get a draw. And I used to stand on the near the halfway line, think, oh, come on, please, Gordon, get us a goal. And straight away he'd pop one in. So Gordon Hill for me. In the more modern day era, but not really that modern, but more modern, was by a country mile. Terry Hurlock was an absolute
Terry Hurlock
for me. Yeah. So there's
one of my old favourites back in the day as well. Stephen, going to you, who you say is your GOAT Millwall player?
I tweeted earlier about it. I thought it was brilliant, the engagement, and watching like loads of people got involved in it on Twitter with Millwall. It was good. It's a great post, and I think it's era specific. I think if you're of a certain age, you're going to pick a certain player. If you're of another age, you're going to pick others. And I think that does have to come into it. For me, there will only ever be one GOAT in my lifetime. And absolute icon of this football club, Neil Harris. He just, if you cannot underestimate, I think, just how much I think we actually mean to Neil Harris and his family. It's not necessarily the fact that he played for us managers. It's the love and support through probably what is probably the hardest thing he's ever going to have to go through. And look, I'm not gonna get into the whole Harris debate. I know there'll be lots of people that have commented on will comment on what has happened in recent history. But for me, unless something drastic happens and we get taken over by some Saudi owner, and that Mbappe turns up at the door, at the Den or whatever, there will only ever be Neil Harris for me, and I don't think anyone's ever going to get close to him ever again. And I'm sure people said that about Teddy. There's lots of people that would say Teddy and Harris went past him, but in modern football, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, no, I agree, and great goats from both of you. My one for me, it's a no-brainer. Gary Taylor Fletcher.
Do you know what? I was going to make that joke, and I thought, you know what? I can't do it. I cannot do it. But I'm pleased you did.
And the Vag Slammer was just behind him. just behind him. Almost into the post. No, for me, growing up...
GTF would fit in the squad now, wouldn't he? With this new thing of three names, 3 syllables for a name. GTF would fit in perfectly.
It's just a shame that he was old, fat, and fucking shit.
Fucking useless.
Fucking useless, yeah. Growing up, supporting Millwall in the late 80s. Obviously, I love, Terry Hurlock, Sheringham, Cascarino. For me, like as a kid, I remember playing with my mates in the playground. I'd be scoring goals and screaming Cascarino and pretending I was Cascarino. Like, I loved Cascarino as a kid. But spending so many years supporting Millwall, watching players coming through, for me, Tim Cahill was great. Ifill was great. Reedy was great. All these top players we can name, can't we? But for me, the GOAT, the true GOAT, it's got to be Neil Harris. Top goal scorer for Millwall. Been there, a big chunk of his career. And for me, personally, I agree with Steve. I think for me, he's the greatest Millwall player of all time, in my opinion. So, but yeah, obviously, we all got our own choice and own thoughts. We're going to go to the chat now. See what the guys say.
Yeah, Kitchener.
Yeah. So all I go for Kitchener, 100%. Dave Squire's gone for Keith.
What a player!
Keith Miller.
What a player!
Yeah.
What a player!
Was he a striker? Wasn't he?
No, midfielder. I played keepy uppy with him on Ramsgate Beach many years ago. Yeah,
there you go.
So
wow.
Get about a bit.
You put that in your book, Disco, your biography.
He was famous for wearing tights, wasn't he? Did you know that he wore some tights? He was the first one to wear tights for Leicester. But he was a
I look forward to that chapter. Football on Ramsgate Beach?
Ramsgate Beach.
With Keith Weller and his
Disco.
Tights. With Disco, exactly. Cherno Samba for Connor. Danny Chapman's gone for Rhino. Hassan's gone for Neil Harris. Roger's gone for Gordon Hill. You like yourself? Yeah. Roger. Showing your age there, Roger. Andrew's gone for Kitch. Andrew's showing his age as well. Jeff has gone for me, no question, Keith Weller. Alex has gone for Alex Ray's namesake. Yeah, great shout. Teddy Sheringham, yeah, can't argue that. Matt, great choice. Joseph's gone for Alex Ray. Hughesy went the only one player that stands name after him is the Kitch. Jeff Charlotte said good shout for Gordon Hill as well, Steve, a little magician. Kitch for David Turner. Connor said comes down Derek Posse. That's the one thing about Derek Posse, the striker. Definitely up there for me. It's Cahill. Dave Miles gone for Teddy Sheringham. War Lions gone for during my time. It's got to be Neil Harris. The Posse from Colin. Another Keith Weller for Larry.
A lot of love for Weller, isn't there?
Yeah. Very good. Is he still alive, Keith Weller? Is he?
No, I think he passed. Yeah, I'm sure he's passed. Yeah.
I was going to say we're getting him on the show, but that...
oh, God, I shouldn't say that without actually knowing. Oh, God.
No, exactly, yeah. Chris
Anton Atlakowski, what a player. What a winger he was. Yeah.
And Sheringham as well. I remember seeing Gordon Hill the first time, the old man saying he won't be with us very long. Did it go quite cheap as well to Man United, Disco?
80 grand or something. It was peanuts. Steal. Yeah. But it's okay in those days, but it was a steal. Yeah. They absolutely stole.
Jeff, do you think though that these comments though, just it's exactly the same as if we were trying to talk about who we'd play in our team today? The opinions of everybody and how people perceive players. It's just it's amazing to see the love for certain players.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone's got their own opinions, haven't they? Everyone's got their own opinions. Teddy, I think Les Bride deserves a mention. Superb, great captain, wasn't he? During the 87, 88 season. Leslie Hurlock has to be for him. Instead of goes for Sheringham and Cunningham, pure class. That's an interesting shout for Kenny Cunningham.
Yeah.
Great right back. Obviously, he went on to play for Wimbledon, played many times for Ireland as well. David, John Doherty, think outside the box. Yeah, I get that. Jesper went for my Hoffer. My Hoffer. Brilliant. Oh, I tell you, we could do with him. I tell you, there's been time. Some games will be like 92 minutes gone. We need an injury time winner or an equaliser. I like the old Mayhoffer,
Did he come twice?
Yeah, he did.
He did, yeah. Fucking crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah. Harris was phenomenal. Big E's gone for Bob Peters.
Oh, Big Bob.
Big Belgium, Bob Peters.
Love it, yeah.
Jeff Chandler, Joe Zamp for me. What a poacher. Go on, Jeff. Go on, get in there, my son. John Daddy for Samuel.
Hey, they love him up here at Bolton as well.
Yeah, Alex Ray is up there for me when I was growing up. Yeah, agree. Carl said, I love Super Neil Harris, living legend. He loves Millwall. Keith Weller for Dave Squire. He died of cancer. Sad.
Oh, well,
okay.
Very apt.
Which is another reason, guys, why you've got to subscribe and like to this channel, guys. Because again, everything we do for this channel, all the profits we make, I say profits, we don't take any money out of this channel whatsoever. So everything we get goes to Cancer Research UK. And at the end of the season, Chris will announce what we've raised. So we're looking forward to hopefully raise lots of money. Hopefully we can help towards Cancer Research UK. Weller died in 2004. It's quite some time away. Was Gordon Hill the one with the big chin?
Yeah. Used to do a Norman Wisdom impression as well, Big E.
Did he?
Yeah, he was renowned for it. Right character. He played for England. He was brilliant, and it was Stevie Coppell on the other wing. And he was always free and he never seemed to get the ball. And there was always a bit of a rumour that he wasn't always liked, Gordon Hill, because he was a bit of a cocky,
bit mouthy, was he?
You know.
Hence why he's at Millwall.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anton Atalowski there for William as well. It might turn out to be that John and James Berrison is the GOAT. Yes, absolutely.
Just out of interest, Joe, and also Steve, just on some of these. Obviously, we're talking about legends, long-term servants, long-standing players, managers, etc. But if you was to say the best player, so not necessarily ability wise, ability, the best player you've seen in a Millwall shirt. Now that can be either performances, what they've gone on to achieve. Who you say, and again the same to you, Steve. Ability, the best player.
Can we pick a lone player, or does it have to be a Millwall player?
It can be a lone player, and I think you're going to say who I was going to say, but go on.
Who?
Harry Kane.
No, I like Harry Kane. I thought he was great. He scored some great goals. For me, the best player that I've seen at the Den, and I literally was off the edge of my chair thinking, "Wow, we've got to sign this player."
DH.
And Alex S has just mentioned it here.
Oh, yeah.
Darren Huckabee.
Yeah. He was unbelievably good, by the way. He was. But I think Harry, people will say that, Teddy, considering he come from, he played for us. He was our record goal scorer, went on to win the Champions League, etc. Harry Kane, Puncheon was great as well. But I think, again, that might be a recency bias for me. But let's face it, he went on to captain England and he scored a bucket load of goals.
Well, I mean, Puncheon was good. I only remember the hat-trick he scored against Palace, I think he scored the hat-trick. Yeah. And for me, I don't remember too much more about him. Again, Matt Richards mentioned Huckabee. In fact, between us guys, I didn't stalk Huckabee's dad. I actually spoke to Huckabee himself on X, on Twitter, and I had a bit of a chat go with him on a private conversation, through a DM, and we had a bit of a back and forth. And I was trying to get him on the show to do like an interview with him. He wouldn't do it, sadly. But I had one evening, I sort of had a good old sort of half-hour chat with him. He talked about his time at Millwall and everything else. And I tell you what, what a top guy. Shame I couldn't get him on the channel for you guys, for listeners. But he really loved his time at Millwall. He said he really, really helped him. It helped him develop, helped him get first team football. He said he would have signed for Millwall if they could have raised the money, but unfortunately we couldn't. I think it was Coventry that beat us to it, I think, at the time. But yeah, top guy for me. I absolutely loved him.
Great player.
Yeah.
Chris Wood was another great loan signing, wasn't he? Chris Wood.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The one thing I would throw in there, and I'm not just in links in with your point, Stephen, really, is Teddy Sheringham. Listen, without question, absolute top quality. But when people say he was the best at Millwall, was he the best you've seen at Millwall? And you're saying he is, but is it after? Because for me, he was like a fine wine. He actually got even better after he left us, as Harry Kane, as you say.
I must admit, I never saw Teddy play. Unfortunately, I'm going to say I'm too young to have seen Teddy. Too young to have seen Teddy.
You
play.
are, aren't you? Let's be honest. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that when we talk about you could argue that players like Tim Cahill went on and achieved. It's not necessarily, what they achieved with us. It's the best player I've ever seen in a Millwall shirt, or what they've gone on to achieve. Teddy comes into that argument. Harry Kane obviously comes into that argument. But it's also, this is off a real tangent now, but the best player I've ever seen play against us in terms of a performance was Nico Cranshaw. Obviously, people are going to turn around and go, "Oh, well, we faced Cristiano Ronaldo and we faced all these top players."
The best player against us, sorry, you say?
Yes, an individual performance. When what's his face got hit in the face with a ball, Harry Redknapp. That day, Nico Cranshaw was absolutely unbelievably good.
For me, I think it's Paul Merson.
Merson as well.
The Portsmouth,
yeah.
But we could talk about what they've done in a Millwall shirt, but I think you talk about the best player that's ever worn the shirt. I think that Kane and Teddy are probably for what they've achieved outside of the club.
Yeah, I agree with Matt here as well. So that 1990-1991 season, we got relegated from the old First Division, which was now the Premiership. And that season, Shane scored ridiculous. I think he scored 38 goals that season. And I remember watching him in every game he was going to score. He was just incredible. He was unplayable. What a player. And of course, he gets the move to Nottingham Forest.
I'd have put Cass just ahead of him. But then after that,
Sheringham went another level.
Sheringham went on. But look, it's a game of opinions, and we all have. I think Jeff Chandler said there about Keith Weller, and he's right. If I think back, and I'm 61, but I'm pretty sure my dad would have said Keith Weller was the best he ever saw. So he probably was just a touch before.
He said if we hadn't sold him the year before, we would definitely got for the old First Division.
Did he go to Leicester, Jeff? Just out of interest, can you put on? Was it Leicester he went direct to, or somewhere else? I know he ended up at Leicester.
Put it in the chat, Jeff, if you can. Big E, Tony Warner. Yeah, great keeper, great servant for us. Loved it, and what a character!
His character as well.
I was lucky to know him back in the day, and a few of the boys back in that era. I knew, obviously, Harris when he was a player, Cahill, Ifill, Denzel. Used to spend many times, Ronnie Ball, a few of us all after games back to Timmy's house on a Saturday night. I tell you what, Tony was a character, top guy, mad as a box of frogs. I tell you, but all goalkeepers aren't they? They say, they're all a bit mental, aren't they? In some way, Jeff Chandler said that, Andy May was also a real good player. He was. Mick McCarthy signed him, and what a player. Apparently, when Andy May was coming through, I think he played for Newcastle Youth Academy or something. They reckon he was going to be better than Paul Gascoigne. I don't know if I read that right or wrong, but he was supposed to be like the better player of the two. But obviously, Gascoigne went on to be incredible. Was that
not the other one, Bogey? Was that not Ian Bogey?
Ian Bogey, yeah. Andy May was quality. Be right, Ian Bogey. I think he was one of Newcastle.
Didn't Andy May's dad go on the centre spot? In the protest, do you remember that guy looked like Andy May and went on the centre spot in some pitch invasion or something? Yeah, it was hilarious. And they said it was Andy May's dad. Hilarious.
Guys at the old den was class, Alex says. Glenn Johnson, what a right back he was on loan. We signed him, I think he was at West Ham at the time, weren't he?
Yes, he was,
Quality. Again, really, really nice guy. It's a weird tie that was. He had all these players coming through.
Oh, wow. So he went to Chelsea, right? Yeah.
That's
so we would have been a top team then, right.
Yeah. There you go.
Excellent. Just changing the subject.
No, that's just one, Stephen. That's a good shout.
Yeah, 100%.
That's a really good shout.
Very good shout. I tell you what, Alex, if he was injury-free, he could have, and a lot of Mill players say, I think Ronnie Ball said it in the interview that me and Chris done with him recently, that had he not had the injury, he would have gone on to be definitely playing the Premier League, and he reckons he would have been, without a shadow of doubt, being the best Millwall player ever. Yeah, that's how good he was. He was only young, weren't he? It was Ian Bogey. Yeah, you're right, Alex. Yeah,
there are just a couple of big results in the Championship. Luton are now beating Cardiff 2-1, which is a massive result, and Derby are still 2-0 up against Coventry. They're big results at the bottom of the league. Norwich are losing, Sunderland are being held, Bristol City are losing, West Brom are being held. So I'm not one of these, but anyone that might be holding out a little bit of hope of catching the teams above us, the results are going in our favour for that eventuality. But I'm not gonna get into
believe,
that.
believe. Hashtag believe.
We're definitely going to look back at so many points, missed opportunities. But well, look, who knows? Who knows?
Okay,
see
guys,
night.
we're up to about 1.5 hours at the moment, so we've gone past the hour mark. Disco again. It's your fault. I blame you.
Sorry, it's my fault going on about Golden Hill.
Just to end things off, we're going to discuss. What we're going to discuss? We're going to discuss Leeds away tomorrow night. Before we do that, though, Disco, I just want to share with you some stats. If I could just get it up, just give us 2 seconds. Where are we? Yes, here we are. I don't know if you can see that. It's not great, is it,
yes.
from Joe's amp there? But first, that is Leeds United have won each of their last 3 home league games against Millwall and have recorded 8 victories across their last 9 matches against the Lions at Ellen Road. After winning the reverse fixture 1-0 in November, Mill will be looking to record a 4th league double over Leeds United after the 87-88, 2009-2010, 2017-2018 campaigns. To be the 4th time we could do it. Leeds United are unbeaten in their last 15 home league games. So they've won 13, drawn 2, scoring 40 goals in that time and scoring the opening goal in 40 of those matches. Easy work. Millwall have won only 1 of their last 8 midweek games on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday away league. So we've drawn 2, lost 5, conceding 14 goals across those games. Again, perfect stat there. Who say we're going to go and beat them at the road tomorrow night, you know? And the last stat we've got there for you is Leeds United have won 4 of their last 6 league games against London opposition. They've lost 2, including their last 3 in a row at home. The Whites had only won 4 of their previous 26 league games against sides from the capital before this. They've drawn 4 and lost 18. So all to play for tomorrow night, Disco. What'd you make of that?
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Interesting stats there. And look, the reality is not a stronger record at Ellen Road as at the Den, but we haven't got a terrible record at Leeds. And as I said for the Watford game, I like it when we play games and there's teams that we've got a record of getting results. You know, look, we've lost some, drawn some, won some. I always refer to bloody Norwich. I don't ever want to go there again in our lifetime because it's just nailed on. Well, I'll be honest, I've never been to Carrow Road, and it is the one journey I'm going to make one year because I know I'll go and we'll bloody win, you know, at long last.
I haven't been either. And you're right. It's a ground that I want to go, but I don't want to go because I know if we do go in, we're losing anyway, you know. So
more than likely, but it's just a hoodoo, isn't it? This isn't a hoodoo. I thought we played really well in the cup there. Yes, they had a weakened team, but they still had some major players in the side. Yeah. And
our away form's decent as well, you know.
And
so
I agree. Yeah. And every team during the season has a little blip, don't they? They have a good run, average run, and a little blip. They've just drawn. They drew at home, didn't they, with West Brom. Yeah. Then they've lost away to Pompey, and wow, what home form Pompey have got, by the way, who we beat as well. So I think we can go there with a bit of confidence. Look, we've got nothing to lose. What the fuck have we got to lose? Again, other than getting
two clean sheets as well, Disco. There, 180 minutes play against Leeds. We've got nothing to fear against, have we? Really, you know.
I agree.
So you're absolutely right. Yeah, we're gonna. Cheers, that Disco. Stephen, what's your thoughts? And before we go to Stephen, guys, in the chat, if you're still with us, do you want to do the little quiz at the end? I've got a very, very small quiz together. Again, name the Millwall player. Put yes in the chat if you want to. Put no if you don't want it, and we'll add it up and see who wins. If you want it, we'll do it. But put yes in the chat. If not, put no, and we'll decide we will do a little quiz at the end, and we can guess who the Millwall player is. Over to yourself, Stephen. Sorry, mate.
I would have preferred it if Burnley would have won tonight, because the way that it's going, if Burnley would have won and Sheffield United, who are winning, Leeds would have actually been third in the league going into the game. And I think that would have added a little bit more pressure onto them. As it stands, they might be second with Sheffield United ahead. So again, I think they're the team under pressure. They've come off of the back of 1 point out of their last 6 available, obviously with the draw and the defeat. They need to be winning. They need to be winning games of football to get out of this division. We're going there as a free hit. We've beat them twice. We're not expected. Let's face it, the entire footballing world is expecting us to lose tomorrow. And Burnley and Sheffield United are probably thinking, come on, lads, do us a favour, but it's unlikely.
Yeah.
We've got nothing to lose, and we can go there. And I know you touched on it earlier, Joe, and said that when we played them in the cup, we started there and played aggressive, I thought, and we were on the front foot. I would, excuse me, I would love us tomorrow to try and do the same thing. We've got nothing to. Obviously, if you're getting battered, then you might need to change it. But go there and try and win the game. Cause an upset. Get under their skin that little bit more. That's the sort of thing I'm hoping for us. Whether or not it happens or not is another issue. But no fear, they might go and beat us. So what? It's expected. I never want us to lose games of football, but let's be honest. We've got to be realistic and say if we get a result at Ellen Road tomorrow night, that'll be a bloody good result.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Any thoughts, Stephen and Disco, to who you're picking starting lineup? Obviously, we saw the last game with Coburn starting, Honeyman starting. Who's the other one? Sorry, Marku. Do you think Alex Neil will start with the same lineup against Leeds? I mean, they with the changes made, I guess at Watford, what line will you see him going for? Because they're not a too dissimilar team to Watford, are they? They're like a lot of possession. They've got some fast players. He saw the tactics work second half against Watford. Would he use those tactics tomorrow night? Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a possibly unchanged team. Even thinking there, Honeyman, I wouldn't start him all day long, but I wouldn't be surprised because he'll argue, listen, he played the whole game and he will feel he did a job. I personally, I think Aziz should come in, and whether that's for Imaku or with Imaku, that would be an interesting decision. And I would definitely rest Cundle, but I guarantee he doesn't rest. Whatever happens, I don't think he'll rest Cundle. So I think I would like to see RBW or even Connolly in the 10. And I would start with Coburn up front, going back to earlier where I know some would BFS. But other than that, I think similar team. Yeah.
That's interesting. And Stephen, how about yourself?
I would change it quite drastically in the forward area to try and get on the front foot. Personally, I don't think Alex Neil is going to do that whatsoever. I think someone's just put in the chat that about dropping Imaku. I don't necessarily think it would be dropping him. I think it would be. I think Aziz, with the little bit of history now, because they're going to be on Aziz with the whole DJ Femi and all that. I think Aziz is the sort that would turn around, and I think he'd give it back. You know, if he was to score a goal, I think he wouldn't mind celebrating in front of the home end. So I think Aziz will come back in, and
he had a good game against them in the cup.
Exactly.
Goals, so
I think so, and I just, for me, I would rotate and get Ivanovic back in the side. I would love a Cundle to be dropped or rested and Bangura Williams to come in, but I don't see Neil making 3 changes, but I can see Ivanovic and Aziz coming in.
Okay, interesting. Okay, guys. So I think in the chat, I think Joe should. My question should we do the quiz? I think yes, just slightly out edged the no. So sorry, Chris. You have to cross your legs a bit longer, and Matt, put some matchsticks under your eyelids just for another 5-10 minutes, and we'll try and wrap this up very, very quickly. So, first one, a nice and easy one for you guys. Again, Disco and Stephen, don't give your answers just yet. Let the chat give their answers first, and we'll hear from you afterwards. So the first one is this one. So again, if you're on Spotify or Apple, you can't see the channel. This player started at Charlton for a few years. Went on loan to Blackpool. Went out on loan to QPR. Signed for QPR. Was there for 4 years. Went to Watford. Went to Bolton. Went to Millwall for a short period. Went back to QPR and then back to Millwall for a long period of time. So he played 69 times for Millwall between 2012 and 2015, scoring 3 goals. So again, in the chat, put your answers down.
Oh, it's is it DS?
So we've got a few coming in. We've got Shitu from Warline. Shitu. What are you guys going for? Disco, Stephen?
I said DS, Danny Shitu for me.
Yeah.
I think
would you
so,
have picked him?
But I don't. So that graphic there says that he left Millwall. Millwall was the last team in his career.
Yeah.
I don't think Danny Shitu. I thought he went on. I thought
we went to QPR again on loan.
Yeah, I don't think.
And then he went on a perm, didn't he? Unless he didn't play. I know he went back to them, didn't he?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that he did. I'm gonna go for a little bit of a rogue one, but again, I don't know if he actually retired or not, and the time frame might be a little bit wrong. But I was going to say Carlos Edwards.
Right, the answer is Danny Shitu.
Oh, there you go.
That's Danny what we do.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Right, next one.
So he retired from football after he retired.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's right. You're right there. Yeah.
I don't think he did.
Yeah. Oh,
it's a scam. I've been scammed, Joe.
Next one. Nice, easy one. So again, in the chat, put your answers in there. So again, for the guys not on YouTube, this guy played for West Ham. Coming from West Ham, he didn't play for West Ham. He actually played competitively for Cardiff, on loan to Luton, Bournemouth. Then went to Millwall 2008. Was there for 9 years. Played 299 times for Millwall. Didn't score a goal. Went on loan to Portsmouth. Went to Cambridge before he retired. Played 443 games.
Am I right in saying, Joe? Am I right in saying a player of the season?
May have
potential. Yeah.
Potential, yeah.
For us, are you saying player of the season?
Yeah. Who are you going for, Disco?
No, you lost me there. Not
Stephen, who are you going for?
Disco, an Irishman.
Oh, David Ford. No, he was at. It didn't say Cardiff there, did it? I thought he played for Cardiff.
He did play for
Cardiff.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, he saved the penalty again, didn't he?
A lot of guys got it right. Jeff got it right. Alex got it right. Unlucky Joseph.
Another David, decent keeper and a nice bloke as well, wasn't he? Apparently.
Yeah.
40.
Yeah. Excellent. One more. There we go. And let's get the last one. No goes. It's a giveaway. Exactly. Next one coming up is, there you go. Nice, easy one. This guy played 231 times for Chesterfield, 17 times for Bristol, went to Millwall in 99 for 3 years.
I think I know that
played
one.
69 games for Millwall, went to Watford for 3 seasons and ended his career at Northampton. Who's the player?
I think has he just finished as a manager?
Well, I'm giving it away, weren't it, Disco?
Well, I'm so shit at this. I'll try and get one.
Go on then. Go for a guess. What do you reckon, Disco?
Is it Daishi?
What do you reckon, Stephen?
That's a good shout, actually. I thought he played more games for us than that. If it is Dyche, then I'm surprised.
Who would you go for if it wasn't Dyche, Stephen?
It's got to be a defend. I don't know. I'll go Sean. I would probably end up with Sean Dyche because I know he played for at least 3 of the clubs on there.
Yeah, you're both correct. So Jimmy went for Dyche. Well done, Jimmy. Jesper went for Dyche. Well done. Well done, Alex. Well done, War Lion. Oh, Nick's with us. Nick only turns up for the last 5 minutes to play the quiz.
He's a night owl.
Done, Nick.
Yeah.
Well done, Nick. And Jeff went for Dicey as well. Good. Well done. All correct. Brilliant. Who wants one more?
Joe's on a roll.
The bonus one.
No.
Right, this is going to be quite a tough one. Last one. Ready? There you go.
Oof. Again.
Oldham.
Scored a few times for
Ooh,
these first team.
That's down the road from me.
Scored 3 times afterwards.
Oh, I know who that is.
Yeah, all right. Hold
By
it
the
there.
way, I won't give it away. By the way, he was a baller. If it's who I think it is, he was a baller.
Yeah. Disco, any ideas?
No, I'm struggling. What position we talking?
He was sort of like a wide sort of player, attacking player.
He was a wide player, but I think again he should have been in a 10. Should absolutely
I
should have
agree.
been in the 10.
Had an eye for a goal. So
His best mate was our centre back, right? He used to have a little bit of a bromance, didn't they? So his best mate was Mark Beavers.
Mm. It was a bit of a ginge, wasn't he?
He was a bit of a ginge.
Give up?
No.
Steve looks like he's given up on life there. He's
put him out of his misery.
I've done a bit better.
Put him out of his misery, Stephen. Who is it?
Myself.
Chrissy Taylor.
There you go. Well done. Let's see who else is right in the chat. Alex S got it right.
Yeah.
Chris Taylor got it right. Jimmy got it right for Chris Taylor. Spelled shit. Jeff China, Taylor, absolutely well done. David Turner, Taylor, brilliant. Jimmy Cricket said it was Button Beavers. And no, Nick Callahan. Can't believe Nick didn't get his one right. I'm disappointed in it. I thought he got that one right. Unbelievable.
I didn't know he went to Radcliffe Borough. That's down the road from me here. I could have gone and seen him. Bloody hell. Good player, I thought. Good player. Like you say, he was a baller. Yeah, I'd agree with you, Stephen. Yeah, good player.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Guys, I think we've overstayed our welcome slightly. It's 1 hour and 46 minutes. I think if Chris Brown's pissed himself already, he will be. So we better go and end the show very quickly. Guys, thank you to Stephen and for Disco for giving up your time again this evening and sharing your thoughts and your opinions. Obviously, we love hearing from you guys. And thank you to you, more importantly, in the chat, the listeners, the guys that are watching our show week in, week out. Yeah, without you, we wouldn't be doing this and raising lots of money for charity. So thank you so much for being here with us. Chris Brown is. I'll clean up later. Nice one, Chris. Jeff, fantastic. Cheers, Jeff. Thanks, mate.
Cheers,
really
Jeff. Appreciate
that. Warline says, fake lads. Thank you all. Nick Callaghan, sorry for not taking part, chat, but I'm watching on the TV in Florida.
Oh, wow.
Right for some, innit, eh?
Yeah. Is he with Chris? Is Chris over there with him?
Yeah, probably. Probably sitting there sharing a pina colada together, aren't they? Under the palm trees. Good on you, Nick. Alex says, cheers. Good to see you, Alex. Thanks, mate. David went quick. Hit like. Thanks, gang. Yeah, absolutely, Dave. Thanks for reminding me. Make sure you like the show, guys. Please do that. Joseph's very entertained tonight. Cheers, Joseph. We do try. Thank you very much, mate. Matt's a great show, boys. You're still awake, Matt. I'll see you. Probably see you soon, Matt. Probably see you on Saturday or something. Colin, cheers, lads. And Jeff Cook, great show again, boys. See you tomorrow night, Disco, and don't be late. There you go.
I won't be, Jeff. Get ready,
boys. That's
Joe,
it.
can I just say as well, thanks to Craig for letting us join his birthday celebration tonight.
Yes, happy birthday again to Craig this year. I don't know if he's here or not, but yeah, if you're not with us, obviously, happy birthday to Craig. Dave Squire, great show. Well done, Steve, the supply teacher. Good stuff. Brilliant. Well, listen, enjoy the game tomorrow night. Let's be positive. Let's go up and at them. I'm not worried. I think we could do a job on them. I think, the boys are good enough to get a result there. And like you guys said, if we get a result against them, who knows? We are very, very close and we're in contention. So without any more, have a great evening. Enjoy the game tomorrow night, and we'll catch you next week on our live again. Bye for now.
Bye.
Hi, it's Steve Morrison here, and you're listening to Chat with Chaps, chatting Millwall, come rain or shine.
Boom.